All right, welcome back. Multi-man publishing standard combat series, North Africa. We are playing the Crusader scenario here, and we're coming to the end of the first turn. There's two turns, but in this game, the turns are filled with alternating activations. So effectively, it's almost like we're on the seventh turn, just from the point of view of activity. I'll start here in the west. The big problem for the Germans was they were not successful with these troops in taking Derna, which now cuts their supplies during the interphase, and we're going to have to roll for surrender for a bunch of units. And this unit they did at least take a hit on and pushed them back. But again, Derna, being a city, doubled, and the barrage not giving them the result they needed. The Germans are out of supply. Now, the British also are. You'll see that on the other side. But at this point, we're in the exploitation phase, so it's just a matter of identifying uh, who's going to move. All these units can move. They got the yellow stripe. So basically what they're going to do is pin these units for what it's worth. So this guy will go here. This guy will go here. Now this guy's tough. Neither of these guys can move. So at this point, I think we've got a cordon. These he can't really. He'll run out of movement points fast here potentially. The British, all they can really do is a reaction move, and they'd have to pick it here, which probably wouldn't be wise because they need to react with their other units. And speaking of which, let's move on. So that's the end of that one, but there is a main event going on here. Now it's the German exploitation phase here. And basically all these units, I already moved the supply unit, he was here. But all these units, I don't think for exploitation you have to be within 10 of the supply unit, so you're good to go here. But actually the big event is here. I'm just gonna play like I'm Rommel and gamble. Didn't have good effects with barrages and airstrikes last turn, but here's Rommel poised. He can overrun, and he's gonna actually try and overrun Gott in Bardia. Now this is a city, so it's doubled to 12. So unless the Germans can get to, let's see, 24 and 6, 30, they're going to be stuck with a 2 to 1. Okay. And looking at this stack, I don't think there's 30 there. 13, 17, nope, 26. So no matter what, they get a 21, they get a 2 to 1. So the minimum they need for a 2 to 1 would be 12 and 6 is 18. And the closest they can get there is 30. They got to get to 18. So let's see which units will go. Look at this again. 6 and 7 is 13 and 9 is 21. Or could we get to, it's all math here. 9 and 7 is 16 and 4 is 20. That's too much. 9 and 6 is 15 and 4 is 19. That's probably it. 13, yeah. So we're going to leave the 7, 12, 4 behind. I'm just going to get him out of the way. And here comes Rommel. He's going to move here. He can't use the remote movement rate. Well, he can't use it there. So even if that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the overrun. So, and this guy can't be part of it. The 21st Panzer underneath, but that's fine. So he's going to move to overrun that hex from here. So I'm going to put this guy back. And we're going to take that away. And Rommel's here, except not the 0312. So both commanders are in the battle. So we're going to see if they die. Otherwise, it'll be a flat 2 to 1. So this is the big event, or it could be the big event. So let's pull up the leader loss table, and we'll roll for Rommel first. I don't want to use that. Okay, got my dice roller up. So I'm going to roll for Rommel first. 7, Rommel lives. Now we're going to roll for Gott. They both live, so it is a flat 2 to 1. A flat 2 to 1. Check our math here again. 6 and 9 is 15 is 19 to 12. And that's more, yeah, that's 1.5 to 1 round up to 2 to 1. So roll of the dice, truly. Let's look at the CRT. And it could go either way. 7 and above, Rommel slightly has the advantage. So here's the big roll. 7. Great. That is a D1 R1. Wow. Way to go, Rommel. Just barely. So there's the D1. We're going to flip. And then the guy has to retreat, and he's gone because if he retreats here, the units don't negate Zot. They'll lose a step. So Rommel took Bardia. Just barely. Let me check what happens to Gott here. Okay, I'm going to interpret the rules. If all the units stacked with the leader are eliminated, automatically roll the leader loss. Die roll modifier. So I'm going to say that our unit retreats this way, the guy's eliminated, but he ends up in a hex that already has somebody, so that's not alone in the hex. So let's see. But he still rolls an 11, which is appropriate. Gott is killed. And Rommel is forced to advance. Look at that. But not the 0312. Hold on. So that's a big one right there. That's a victory condition. Now the British, their goal is going to be to kick them out. All right, so now I need to do the rest of the exploitation movement here. And of course, the Joker in the mix is here. These units are firmly entrenched. 9, and that's a city 18, and there's nobody to stop them. So all the British, except for the units in Tobruk, are out of supply because nobody has supply units out here to expand to provide interim supply. So perhaps I was overly aggressive in the game, but we'll see. So let me go ahead and figure out the exploit move for the rest of the Germans and Axis. Okay, I don't know that's the best move here, but they're looking to contain, and looking at this. 4 and 5 is 9, 9 and 6. They should be okay in Bardia with a doubling. And then the rest of this is trying to screen them out. These units actually pose a bigger threat because they are, in theory, within 10. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. This guy. These two guys. So they could burn a supply unit and do a limited activation. That's the only. So they could burn supply and try and attack here, but I don't know if that's a wise decision, but that's the British choice. But at least this prevents any of them from doing anything great. Well, I guess, no, they can't overrun, so they're going to be pinned here anyhow. So I don't know how leaky this is going to be. With units getting out, we blocked them here to here, so the only way out is coming through here, and they do have this unit. So something for the British to chew on there, but that should end the German exploitation phase. So successful, but not as successful as wanted, because first their barrages and airstrikes were hopeless failures, and then they weren't able to take Derna way back there to protect their supply. So that just sets us up now for British get a reaction move. They don't, well, I don't think they want to burn their supply here. I think they want to save it, and that'll get them 2 full activations next turn, while the Germans will only have 1 because they only get 2 supply units. But the unknown is going to be all the out of supply rolls for pretty much all of these units, thanks to the lead units and what they did. So if we look at the activations here, Movement overruns exception Rommel. Well, didn't know that. But Rommel's in zone of control, so he's not able to overrun. That's something to file away. But they're not going to get a reaction move because the British are the only ones that can do that. And let's see. Reaction movement, player select only if preceding enemy activation was full or limited. So actually, yeah, if they did a limited here and did something here, then the Germans get another move. And got to be within 10 hexes or less of a chosen combat unit to move. So the whole point is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Actually, they could probably pick this guy. So he'll be able to move. All of these units will be able to move. But I don't. Well, yeah, this guy will move. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, that could be helpful. Well, I don't know. And with this guy on a road. All right, well, it's something to think about. So, for the sake of doing little bite-sized chunks, that's the end of the German exploitation. And the big news is Rommel overran and rolled into Bardia, along with trying to block off or isolate the majority of British forces. But just like the Brits, the Axis have a big supply problem, and it'll be a big unknown during the interphase to see who actually surrenders and who doesn't. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the next one.